MC, MI, people call me Milk. When I'm busting up a party, I feel no guilt. Even though, you sending out the records and you're starting to see the feedback and you're doing the interviews and stuff, like until you see a bunch of kids go ape shit, right? You don't really get it. We're rated R, we're gifted, and we're going far down the road.
Everybody was really striving to be unique. And, biting was whack.
They knew the time.
But had skills, and that's what happened with Audio 2. I think they were fresh, their voice was different, but they still could spit.
That's what we get. Got it good. Since you understood, would you?
In 1987, Milk D and his brother Giz, also known as the Audio 2, smashed the hip-hop world with the record Top Billing, a single with a beat that was never heard before in hip-hop.
We had just come out of the Sugar Hill Gang era and all that. Now we're going into PE and KRS-One, and then here comes Audio 2.
The Brooklyn duo, along with their dad, launched an independent rap label called First Priority Music.
Now, we were basically doing everything anyway, right? We're taking it to the record stores. My father's paying off the DJs. We were doing a lot of the legwork for the single. And that inspired us to start. It's like, yo, we might as well start our own label.
Early 80s was very R&B. It was very good times, just looped up. And then Run DMC was the first real group I remember putting out where it was just beats to the rhymes, Top Billin' was like a straight beats to the rhymes kind of record. It was like, it was the next generation Run DMC for us.
So we shopped, when we did Top Billin' and I Cram to Understand You, we shopped it to all the labels, which they all denied us. They said, oh, he sounds like a girl. That's just a beat.
What happens is Milk runs upstairs, says, y'all gotta come downstairs and hear this. We go downstairs. He plays it and he raps the whole thing. And then we sitting there silent when we done. And he thinks it's because we're gonna say it's whack. And we say, yo, it's crazy.
But that's what happens, right? When you're innovating and you're being creative, it could go either way.
With the success of Top Billin', Audio 2 would release their debut album in 1988 entitled What More Can I Say? Now rap stars, they will also go on to introduce an unknown female artist by the name of MC Lyte, who would go on to be a rap star herself.
Latin Quarters. I ran the Latin Quarters, and they used to come in there to perform just about every weekend. And that's when Top Billin' was on its A game. They had to bring them in there because that was one of the songs that blew up in New York City back then, and probably still going on to this day.
The music is timeless, right? So you could listen to it right now, rock out. And I think that's a good test to what good music is.
It was everything we wanted hip hop to be. It was braggadocious. It was hard body, but it was sing along. It wasn't, people don't realize how, Top Billin's a really hard record. I don't think there's no curses in it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, we used to go to Latin Quarter, cats would be getting beat up when that record came on. It was like one of the hardest hip hop records ever, and it ain't even a bunch of curses.
If I had a label and I have an artist, I'm gonna tell them what I think they should do, right? So I can make money for my label. It makes sense. But if I sign an artist, something that I couldn't see, right? But then they made it work, then I jump on the bandwagon, then how do you regulate that, right? So for a while, they'd be like, all right, just do your thing, right? And you give them records and they be like, they don't know. But then you get to a point where they start saying, okay, what they were saying to me was, okay, we need you to do a song like Heavy D.
This is the untold story of Audio 2. The late 80s was an intricate time for music in New York City. Strong Island had a stronghold on hip-hop, from artists like Rakim, De La Soul, EPMD, Public Enemy, and Biz Markie. Hip-hop music was also expanding beyond the East Coast and started to gain momentum across the country. rap music became a way for young black kids to live their dreams and get paid in full through making music. The Audio 2 were two teenage brothers from Brooklyn that happened to have the right formula to become a household name. But their road to success was not an easy one.
I started rapping. This is a good story. When I was in the 5th grade, I heard the Kumo D versus Busy B.
MC Kumo D from the Treacherous 3, my man LA Sunshine in the place to be. We gonna get a little something straight here in the place to be. Don't worry about it, DJ Lee on the place to be. We gonna get a little something straight in the place to be. My man Busy B Starsky. How many people think Busy B Starsky rocked the house? I hear that in the place to be. Yeah. But if y'all notice it or not, you know, I heard a lot of shit, you know, Busy B's popping shit, saying he'll take out any MC and all that. I give it to the man, he know how to rock the crowd, but when it come to having rhyme, no way he can fuck around, and I'm gonna prove that right now. 1 for the treble, 2 for the bass. Come on, easy, Lee, and let's rock the play. 1, 2, 1, 2, doing the do now. Hold on, Busy B, I don't mean to be bold, but put that ball did it, ball bullshit on hold. We gonna get right down to the nitty gritty. Gonna tell you a little something why you ain't shit.
Mixtape. It also had the Cold Crush Brothers on it. And when I heard that, that's when I knew I wanted to rap.
So after being inspired, Milk and Giz decided to hit the studio and record a record for real. Not quite ready for the major leagues of music, they did convince a friend to take them to the studio to record a song to enter into a citywide talent contest, according to Milk.
I started writing then and, you know, started trying to put stuff together. But when I was 14, 13, they had this Clean Up New York rap contest. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go win this contest or whatever. And King of Chill, he took me, that's the first time I ever went to a real studio. He took me to the studio, which was at Richard Lee's house. Richard Lee is from a group called Clear. You know, they had that song Intimate Connection. So we recorded it there. So I sent it in. Of course, I didn't win. But me and King of Chill cut school and went to shop it at the different labels.
When Milk was going into high school, he moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island to live with his father. And he used to take the boat to go to Brooklyn Tech. And I used to take the boat to go to Murray Bertram. So we was on a ferry together, talking about music, talking about hip hop, and we just became friends and brothers, and we've been friends ever since.
According to Milk D, he always felt he had what it took to make it. He always knew he was a star waiting to be discovered. And once he convinced his dad, it was game on.
They used to have this show at Meg Evers College. You send in your demo, and they would play the demos, and people would, you know, call, and, you know, so I sent it in, and they played it, and it was like #1 for like, you know, forever, 8 weeks. And I was telling my father, like, yo, they playing it on the radio, So finally, when he finally got a chance to listen, I think that's when he started taking me seriously. He said, I have a friend, Elmo the Magic Christian. He has a label. Let's, you know, go over there and see what, you know. So that's what we did. And they Elmo Magic Christian Music released our first song, which was a Christmas rhyme.
After things didn't pan out with the Christian label, their dad, the businessman he is, decided to take his son serious, which resulted in him launching a family-owned rap label called First Priority Music.
Well, we did a one song deal with MCM for the Christmas record, which they did play. Right. Chuck Chillout used to play it. Okay. So, you know, it was exciting to hear yourself on the radio, on a real radio station. Right. But, you know, it wasn't, I don't think that song really represented what I felt creatively. It wasn't, you know, it was my voice, right, but it wasn't my song. Right. So, and Giz's voice, we both rapped on it. So, but, you know, that inspired me. I'm like, okay, I got to start trying to put it down the way that I hear it in my head. Right. Yeah.
Hardworking. The whole family base was hardworking. Yeah, like I said, to this day, no matter where we go, everybody still recognizes this symbol.
The notion of the independent label the black-owned independent label. You know what I mean? They were one of the first. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously Russell, but Russell still had Rick. It was still Russell and Rick. You know, but the black-owned, family-owned, you know, do-it-yourself DIY label, create your sound, in-house producers. I believe they were one of the first to start to basically have a street team and really do promotions like that and putting up posters and putting up stickers and doing things of that way. They contributed a lot of those things that they don't always get credit for, you know. You know, book their own tours, that, you know, really do it yourself. This is 86. You know what I'm saying? They're really doing it themselves and without at that point major distribution or major backing. Eventually they got a deal through Atlantic Records, but they spent the first couple of years just doing it themselves. I think it was an important way, you know, to come in the scene. And a lot of times the West Coast cats, like the Too Shorts and them, get the credit for that kind of energy. But First Priority was one of the first ones to do it.
Over the next year, Milk D and Gizmo had worked on their skills and finally understood what they wanted to bring to the table as far as being new artists. Milk figured out the sound of his voice would be a good way for his fans to identify him from any other rapper at that time.
It was such a signature sound. One of the main things, you know, everybody loves their era that they came up in hip hop, but one of the greatest things about our era of hip hop is that everybody was really striving to be unique. And you know, biting was whack. You know, if you got caught biting, you know, and matter of fact, bite a rhyme if you dare. You know what I'm saying?
Milk's voice is one of a kind. You know, the execution, rock the crowd. Their music comes on, everybody's dancing to it.
Okay, so my thing was starting with my name. I always wanted to do something different, right? So,
How did you come up with that?
well, I had another name, and I was like, yo, I want a name that's different, something that nobody else has. You know, I was and thought about this for a long time. But my uncle and my aunt, which they were from Queens over here, they one day when I was small, they was in the car. We were in the car. My uncle jumped out the car to go in the store, but he took the keys to the car, and she couldn't roll the windows down, but she wanted him to get milk. So she started, they were funny anyway, but she started banging on the window and she started screaming, milk, milk. And I just thought that was so funny. I was just laughing because she was bugging out. So every time they would see me, they'd be like, milk. And so when I was trying to come up with a name, I was like, maybe milk. So that's where I kind of got the idea for it. And I was like, that's different. Nobody else would do that. So that's what I did. And it's the same with the concepts for the songs. Every song, I was trying to do something left of whatever anybody at that time. Right. It's like I didn't see the purpose of trying to imitate or duplicate what anybody else was doing, and then the voice. It's like my voice, you know, back then, you know, Melly, Mel, and with my voice, it's like the voice is already completely different. I was just trying to do different stuff. Right. So that's why so many bugged out concepts and ideas, because it was just like, okay, nobody would make a song called "Get Your Mother Off the Crack." Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Milk D started to find his way around the studio once his dad purchased some equipment. Most of the songs he recorded off the classic first album was done on a 4-track recorder. Around the same time, he would be introduced to Daddy-O of Stetsasonic. The two would go on and create some classic music that came off the album.
Daddy-O was down with Lumumba Carson, and we was doing some stuff with Lumumba. He was helping us when we first started, you know, market the records and stuff, and he introduced us. He took us to some Stet shows, introduced us to all of them. You know, we kind of just clicked with Daddy-O, and he became my mentor. Like, yeah, he'd come over and we would make beats, and he'd be like, yeah, that's good, that's not good, show me how to work stuff or whatever. We just clicked.
So I was making a record on the Audio 2 called Make It Funky. And Milk and them had that machine, the drum machine, the SP12. And it only sampled, I think, a second and a half or something crazy like that, something real small and minimal. We go upstairs, we meaning me, Nat Robinson, his dad, and his brother Giz. We go upstairs and we having a conversation upstairs. Milk's downstairs in the basement in the studio. What he does is he loads Impeach the President in the machine, but it triggers off of the pattern that I had made for what I was doing. And that ended up being Top Billin.
This is a question I always get, and people have to understand that, there's people have different definitions of production, right? People think if you make the beat, then that's producing it. You don't have to make the beat or do the music to produce a song. Quincy Jones produced Thriller, right? He wasn't making the producer's old school producer is the person that oversees it and makes sure that it comes out right. They may or may not be the writer of the music or the writer of the lyrics. They could be both. So we produced it together. As far as the beat goes, I made the beat. MCMI, people call me Milk. When I'm busting up a party, I feel no guilt. Gizmos cutting up for the suckers that's down with me. Said the basis, whenever I started, my intention was always to do something that nobody else did. So and really my whole production style is experimentation. I'm not a musician like that. I just keep trying different things, and then if I hear something, I'll be like, oh, that's ill. Like nobody else would do that.
So it was like Milk's voice, rhyming over that beat, the way they chopped it. It was a unique record.
So a few other innovations in that song that only certain people realize. It's funny. I saw Fame MOP a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Yo," he said, "How did you do that reverse delay on Top Billin'?" He's like, "Yo, I heard that shit. Yo, who's there?" He's like, "You did it on this song, you did it on that song." I was like, "Oh, you heard that?" I like a lot of people never noticed that, but in Top Billin', if you listen to it, right, it has what we call a reverse delay. So instead of saying Milk is chillin', 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 it'll say milk is chillin'. It comes before. So this engineer had showed me this thing that they were doing where they would record vocals, and then they would flip the tape over and then record the reverb, so the reverb would sound like it's swishing into the vocals. And he showed me that, and I was like, yo, wow, what happened if you use the delay? So that's what I did. I recorded it, then I flipped the tape over and recorded the delay. And then when you flip it back over, it comes before the words. You know what I mean? So you print your trigger words, and then you set the delay, then you flip the tape over and record it. So when you listen to it, it's going zoop, zoop, zoop. But then when you turn it back over, you hear the actual words.
Outside of becoming a famous rapper, Milk D can also take credit for production on their first album, along with his brother Giz. Milk can also be credited for production for other artists signed to First Priority Music in their earlier stages of their recording process, most notably MC Lyte on one of her first records released called Cram to Understand.